Okay, we're back here down at Carbon Car Systems, and today we're going to show you something a little bit different. We're actually going to show you how easy it is to install this new VE Commodore remote start system. So this is for the VE Series 1 and 2. It's a completely plug and play remote start, and we're going to show you how to do that. So let's go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to show you is actually what is included in the box so that you know what you're going to be installing. So these units come pre-programmed for the VE Series 1 and 2. They're for automatic vehicles at this stage, but we do have a manual one coming out very shortly. So what we'll do, we'll show you each component so you know what you're actually doing. This is the main controller box, okay? So this is the part that will go in the car and allow the remote start to work. By using this, it will allow 3 lock presses to actually start the vehicle, warm it up and get it ready for you, aircon on and etc. So it's nice and comfortable before you jump in. This separate part here, this is actually called a decoder. That part there will actually add long distance remote control. So you have the actual option, if you don't want to use the factory remote, you can actually have some long range stuff. So you can actually start it from your house. You can get 200 meter single button ones, 600 meters, which do two-way confirmation. So even if you can't see the car, it tells you to start it, or even longer, you can get them on your phone. And this is a 1.6K range, tell you everything that's happening. So that is what the decoder is. It comes with some stickers telling people your vehicle in the engine is equipped with remote start. So these stickers would be for the engine bay, just for letting people know that you've got a remote starter. Just a safety thing, you don't have to use them. Owner's guide tells you how to actually use the system. Now included in the back box here, you actually have the plug and play loom. Okay, so this is a very simple loom. So we'll open it up and show you, give you a quick look at that. So this is the T-piece harness, which actually plug into the ignition column, and this will allow all the wiring to the vehicle to this module. On the other end, you have 2 simple plugs. So these simple plugs will plug directly into this module here. So they're color for color, and they're the same pins for each one. You can't actually go wrong. They've got locking tabs, so they'll lock in nice and secure. Very simple. So that's the part that will load the firmware and control the remote starting, and this is the part that will actually go into the vehicle. Now, if you wanted to add the long-range remote controls, what you would do is you would use this 4-pin plug, and you will plug it into the back of the unit, into the 4-pin port. Then you would use the other end, plug it into the decoder, and the remotes, we will send them out pre-programmed to your unit, so you don't need to do any programming. But in the box, there is actually antennas depending on the actual remote that you order. So if you order this basic remote, you have an antenna, and then you have a blue plug. So very simply, the blue plug goes into the blue port, and then the other end will actually plug into the antenna, which you can mount on your windscreen or somewhere in the vehicle, and then you'll have those remote controls. So we're not going to use that today. We're actually just going to show you how to install the system straight into the car to work on the factory remote, but you can option it with some long distance remotes. Okay, next step is to actually show you the tools before we're going to need to install the stuff. So we're going to need a pry bar. So we're using a plastic non-marring so we don't scratch anything and damage anything. If you don't have these, we sell them. They're a couple of dollars. They're not too expensive. And then a simple screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver, and a light just for you know, seeing a little bit better in dark situations. But very simple tools. Anyone should be able to get them. All right, the first step is to actually remove the steering column shroud. So this is actually very, very easy to do on these cars. So we're actually going to start the vehicle up, and we're going to turn the steering wheel around so it's upside down, because this is going to give us a little bit of leverage here, because this paneling has to slide off and forward. So there is actually one screw up under the bottom here, just at the very back in the middle. Very simple and easy to get to. Use your normal Phillips head screwdriver. Just fiddle around to get it in the right spot. Undo that. And that's out. And all you got to do is slide the steering column forward by moving the lever down, slide it forward, and you're going to grab from the back, and you're going to pull that down, and you're going to pull this forward. So these have some locking tabs, which we'll show you in a sec. Oh, there you go, the top pops off. Pop it forward, grab it from the top, upper sides, slide off. So as you can see here, there's locking tabs. So when you put it back up, it goes up and in and locks into place, and then you put the screw at the back, but that's as simple as the cover. Now, right here on the back of the little key barrel here, you can actually see this is a plug. So this is actually one of the plugs we're going to be using. So you can actually take the tape off there. You can put some more tape on it at the end if you want. There's a little locking tab on the bottom. Undo that. That pulls out. And that is actually one of the parts that our T-piece will plug into. So you can actually see it here. It'll only lock into one position. Then the other side will plug back in. Now this part here is actually on the back of the column. We're going to shoot the video from the other side to show you how easy that is, but that will go onto the other side, and that is virtually the install. So we're going to pause that there, we'll show you the other side. So what you can see here, this is the actual plug we're going to be using. So this top part is actually loose, so you can move that out of your way. But on this plug, there's a little red locking tab, which you can just lever out with this pry bar, little plastic pry bar, or if you've got a pick, you can get a pick and do it. And there's a little button on the back of that in the center that you can actually push and slide it out. So this may take a little bit of jiggling. I'm going to use a little screwdriver here to give it a little lever. That will pop it out. And that is the second part of the harness that we're going to have to plug in. So we can stretch this around, plug this in, it'll actually lock back into place. Maybe you can see that there. So that clips in, make sure it's all locked in. Then our other part of the T-piece harness will plug in. And it's as simple as that. So the idea for this would be to do it nice and neat at the back here, away from any moving parts. So as you can see, the steering column will move up and down. So make sure that's going to not be in any position that's going to get torn or wrecked. So we would hide this up here, and we would actually use a couple of cable ties to tie that neatly up against the column, and then you can run this down, and you can run it with the factory looms back up into the factory positions, tie it up, tape it up, and then mount it up inside where it's not going to rattle. So we would actually pull this whole paneling off, but you could simply hide it in there really neatly. But that's entirely up to you where you want to mount that. But that's as simple as the actual install itself. So let's move on to programming. All right, so we're going to show you how to program the module to the vehicle now. So we've left this down so you can actually see. We give you step-by-step instructions on this, so you don't have to worry about forgetting. We'll show you step-by-step and print out in the actual kit. And if you ever make a mistake, you can actually start it again, and we'll show you how to reset the module as well. So the first step will be to wake up the software in the actual car, which is opening and closing the door to the vehicle. So it's as simple as close it, open it up, and then we come back to the vehicle. Next, you'll put the actual key into the barrel and go to the accessory position, and you'll see the LEDs light up red on the actual module. So there you go, red. Start the vehicle once that is red, and it will actually go green. That's completely programmed to the vehicle. You can actually turn it off from there, and it should be working. So jump out the car, shut the door. As you can see here, you can hit lock 3 times. And there you go, it's actually starting the vehicle. Started, warmed up, vehicle's all locked and safe, ready to go. You can actually add the long range remote to there, and we'll show you how that's done as well. You can actually hit lock 3 times and shut the vehicle down. And we'll show you how to restart the module in case you make a mistake. So we'll unlock the car again, come around here. If you do make a mistake during the programming procedures, you can actually just unplug these 2 plugs. There's a little button on the side here. You can actually hold it down and then plug your power plug back in to the module, and you'll actually notice while you keep holding this button, the lights here will actually go red, flashing. You can release it then, and then you're back at the programming stage. So you'll see here, we can turn the accessories back on, and it's learning all over again. So it's as simple as that for programming. Very easy to do. Now we could actually pack that up, but we're going to do another step and quickly show you the long range remotes on how to do those. All right, we're going to show you how to add the long range remote controls that we talked about earlier. It can be different ones. We're just going to show you the basic 200 meter range ones here. So first thing, this is the decoder for the remotes. 4-pin goes into the black port as we talked about at the beginning of the video. Very simple and easy to do. This is the antenna. You'll actually plug either end of this 4-pin plug. You can't get it wrong. It'll only go in one position. And that's an extension in case you want to mount it up on your windscreen. You can undo that, but we're not going to show you that. And it'll go into the 4-pin plug. There is actually a 6-pin because some of the higher powered, longer range antennas require more power basically, so it's a different plug. So that's all plugged in. We've got these remotes programmed to the unit, ready to go for you guys. And we can actually hold this button down. So 1 press will lock it, 2 presses will unlock it. Hold it down for a couple of seconds, we'll actually start the car. So there you go. That's very simple and easy to do. If you're outside the car, we could have had that locked, but you can do it anytime. You can actually shut that down from there, but we'll show you the takeover procedure as well. So when you came back to your car, you would unlock the car, whether it be from this aftermarket remote or the factory remote, unlock it, turn the key on, all the way to the ignition and tap the brake, and that will actually come back over to your control and you can drive it away from there. So pretty easy to use. Okay, it's the last step in packing up the vehicle. We've taped it up nice and neat. The module's mounted away. We're going to show you how to put the steering shroud back on because it's a little bit tricky, and we're going to show you how we would do it. First step, unlock the steering column. Make sure it's all the way out so it can actually slide towards the back of the vehicle, give you plenty of room. Make it up. And you'll see these locking tabs. So these are the two little tabs that the column lifts up onto and locks into position. We talked about it and showed you on the shroud earlier. So as we put the shroud back up, we make sure the steering column's down. We'd put this all the way up and we sort of lever it towards the back of the vehicle, and you can look from underneath and see the tabs, and you just push it back and they'll go up and behind, and then you can slide them on. So it's as simple as that. It's not that hard to do. Little bit tricky and just being a bit of finesse, like not be rough and break things, be gentle. Then the top panel will actually clip into place, so it slides in to the back and down. So we actually lift these up if you have to. There's locking tabs at the back. These slide against the back here, and they slide into place and they lock down. So a little bit hard to see from here, but very easy to do. And that will clip in. There you go, nice and neat. You can actually pull these rubbers out so they sit nicely around the shroud. So the rubber's nice and neat. And then you put your screw at the back, lock it in. Job done. Pretty easy to do. Alright guys, so it's really that simple. It takes us probably about half an hour to do that basic remote start system. So that's the plug and play version. We do have full alarm systems as well, but they do require wiring. But that's the plug and play for the auto. You've got options for long range remote. Very easy to do. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. You can hit us up on the YouTube channel or on our Facebook page, Carbon Car Systems, and we'll give you a hand in any info you need. But Series 1, Series 2, so simple and easy to do.